So I'm going to talk about the key to having a great sales discovery. What I see a lot of sales guys doing when they're kicking off their calls, when they're starting to ask questions, is they're probing very wide. They're asking a lot of questions about a lot of things. They're getting information about tons and tons of things that really don't matter, that they don't need to be asking about, that the person doesn't need to be talking about. And what this can do is just lead to the prospect becoming very disinterested. You start to notice it happen when someone's on a call and the prospect starts to try to rush to the end. They start to ask questions like, why are you even asking me that? Or they're like, hey, can you just give me the price? Or hey, can you just tell me what you do? If you're getting those kinds of responses, it's probably because you're probing too wide, right? The prospect, like this might happen when the prospect says, hey, this is my problem. And then instead of digging into the problem, you start asking questions on a bunch of things that are like outside of or around the problem instead of going really, really deep on that one thing. This is not to say to make your discovery short. This is not to say to not ask questions and to, make it really, really small so you can rush to the pitch. But you will find that you're able to get through a much longer and a much more meaningful discovery. You'll see the prospect opens up way more. The prospect enjoys the conversation way more. The prospect is a lot more engaged in the conversation when you focus all of your questioning on probing deep. It shows that you're listening. It shows that your main focus is to solve the problem. It shows that you're trying to really get an understanding of the things that matter. And at no point when you're asking these types of questions does the prospect start to feel like you're taking them through a scripted process, like you're just some typical sales guy who's following his script. They're not going to feel that way because they feel the custom tailored glove feel of your questions being tailored towards the problems that they're stating they have. They can see that you're looking to expand upon the information that they're giving you. So you really want to focus on probing deep in your discovery. It leads to a great call. It leads to a great conversation. And when I say probe deep, I mean, for example, if I'm talking to a prospect who wants help with their marketing and they say, I'm struggling with my marketing, right? Instead of asking some other question that doesn't really relate to the fact that they're struggling with their marketing, like, oh, you're struggling with your marketing? Well, how long have you been in business? Right? It's like that question doesn't really probe deep. It probes wide. I'm getting more information, but I'm getting a bunch of shallow information on them instead of getting a lot of information on the one thing that matters. That's what you want to do in your discovery. There's two things I want to dig into: their problem, then their goals, and their goal as it pertains to, and the problem as it pertains to why it's keeping them from those goals. And I want to make sure that I'm understanding a lot about a little. I'm understanding a lot about those two things, where sometimes what people can do is they go the route of understanding a little about a lot. They'll understand, they'll understand their marketing strategy. They'll understand how long they've been in business. They'll understand where they grew up. They'll understand what they like to do for fun. They'll understand all of these things. They'll understand very shallow information about a lot of different things about the person, about the business, rather than understanding everything in its entirety about the problem and then understanding everything about the goal. When it comes to your problem, I want to know the who, what, where, when, why. When it comes to the goal, I want to know the who, what, where, when, why. I want to understand how you think about it, what you think about it, everything about that thing, so that I can properly provide you with a solution. It builds trust. It's a more interesting discovery. It's something, like I said before, not to repeat myself, it's something that they're going to be a lot more locked into. Is a way better way to do discovery as opposed to the other way that a lot of people do, and they run into that sales resistance where they don't feel like this conversation is really relevant and they want to just get out of there, right? So back to the example I was about to give, it would be like saying, they say, hey, I have a problem with my marketing. And instead of asking like, well, how long have you been in business? I'm going to stay on that and say, well, tell me more. What's wrong with the marketing? And then they might respond with, well, I'm not getting the right leads, right? And then instead of being like, asking again some other irrelevant question that doesn't have to do with that. I'm taking it another layer deeper and I'm saying, well, tell me about the leads you are getting. Well, and then they say, well, I'm getting these type of leads. And then I say, okay, well, what's wrong with those leads? And I'm going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and not settling for a surface level understanding of the problem, and then not settling for a surface level understanding of their goals and their motivations for being here and wanting our kind of help and support. And then there's a lot more trust, and I'm able to provide a better solution. I'm able to present my product in a better way because I now have the information needed to present and pitch to their exact desires, their exact needs, the depth of their problems. And not everyone else that they're getting on calls with is doing this. If you do your discovery this way, there's a whole slew of benefits that can come from it. But, the whole point of this video is to have a better discovery, probe deep, not wide, understand a lot about a little, not a little about a lot. If you just focus on those kind of two rules, you will have a great discovery. You'll crush your sales calls. I hope that helps, and I'll see you guys in the next one.